Thank you. Ah, isn't this nice?
This is wonderful.
This is wonderful.
Yeah.
Good evening and welcome to our home on this first night of Kwanzaa. And we are celebrating Umoja, which means unity.
Unity.
So when I ask you, what's the news of the day? And I will ask you by saying, Habari Gani? And your response would be,
Umoja. Habari Gani.
Umoja. This is the night of Umoja. Welcome to our home, and I want to thank Fragrance and Khalil for coming here and recording us. And we're going to spend this evening saying quite a bit about Kwanzaa, the history of Kwanzaa, the symbols used during Kwanzaa on the Kwanzaa table. We're going to talk about the Nguzo Saba, the 7 principles that are celebrated during the 7 days of this wonderful celebration, which has been with us for a long time, since 1966.
66.
1966. Yep.
All right.
You want to begin by doing the Tamshi La Tambiko? But first, I think we have to remember.
Okay, so my
elders.
name is Baba Ing,
Yep.
and I'm honored to be able to speak with my community this evening from my home. Karima and I will be hosting this celebration, and before we do anything, we first give honor to our Creator.
Yes.
In every gathering, every time we come together, it's our obligation as African, as black people, to honor God first, and then to honor our ancestors, those who came before us. So before we begin this celebration this evening, I would like permission from our ancestors and our elders to speak and proceed with this celebration. Thank you very much. We appreciate that. And it's always appropriate that we also begin honoring our ancestors by pouring the libation. And I'm going to have and ask Queen Karima to begin doing that. Help you stand up. There we go.
Pouring libation is a time-honored tradition amongst lots of people around the world, and Africa is no exception. In fact, the Africans were the first to remember the importance and value of honoring always our ancestors, those who have come before us, those who built the bridges over which we cross, and those who provided the shoulders upon which we stand. When we perform libation, in our home we use a living plant, which I have here in front of our Kwanzaa table, and we use
I think you can stand on the other side,
the
Karima,
kikombe.
and still be seen.
You think?
Yeah.
I'm going to try to get over here and see if this is
There
a little
you
better.
go.
How's that?
Is that good? Okay.
All right.
So, what is called the Tamshi La Tambiko, this is the libation statement. And this was developed by the Honorable Brother Molana Karanga. And he said, our fathers and mothers came here, lived, loved, struggled, and built here in this land called America, as we were enslaved. At this place, their love and labor rose like the sun and gave strength and meaning to the day. For them, then, who gave so much, we give in return. On this same soil, we will sow our seeds, and liberation and a higher level of human life will develop from that. May our eyes be the eagle, our strength be the elephant, and our boldness be like that of the lion. And may we remember and honor our ancestors and the legacy they left for us as long as the sun shines and the waters flow. For our people everywhere then, for Shaka, Samori, and Zenga, and all others known and unknown who defended our ancestral land, history, and humanity from alien invaders, we pour libation and say, Ashe.
We use a living plant to represent all life, and from the kikombe, I will pour a little bit of water to represent those things that nurture and sustain life.
For Garvey, Muhammad, Malcolm, and King, for Harriet, Fannie Lou, Sojourner, Bethune, Nate Turner, and all the others who dared to define, defend, and develop our interests as African people. We pour libation and say, Ashe.
Ashe.
We pour libation. Pour libation. And we say Ashe.
Ashe.
And now we ask
Not yet.
our audience
Not yet.
for our children and the fuller and freer lives they will live because of our struggles. We pour libation and say Ashe.
Ashe.
For Kawaida and the Nguzo Saba, the new system of views and values that give identity, purpose, and direction to our lives. For the new world we struggle to build, and for the continuing struggle through which we will inevitably rescue and reconstruct our history and humanity in our own image and according to our own needs. We pour libation and we say, Ashe.
Ashe.
Now, it is your turn to call out the names of individuals from your families, in your homes, right now. Stand up and call their names. Honor them as we pay tribute during this time. I would like to honor 3 people from my family, and then Karima is going to honor people from her family, and we're going to do that together. So first I would honor Rebecca Worrell Jasuria,
Ashe.
Marlene Worrell Jasuria,
Ashe.
and Wilson Jasuria.
Ashe. Which means let it be so. I would like to recognize my father, Harvey Eugene Aiken. Let everyone say.
Ashe.
Ashe. I'd like to recognize my mother, Bessie Mabry Aiken. Let everyone say.
Ashe.
And I'd like to remember my sister, Elizabeth Aiken. Let everyone say.
Ashe.
Ashe.
For Lizzie. So if everyone would just keep standing, we would like to now recite our Black National Anthem. And every nation, every community, every people has an anthem that they subscribe to. Here in the United States, they have their anthem. We as African people have an anthem that was given to us by James Weldon Johnson, one of our African ancestors. And that anthem is known as Lift Every Voice and Sing. Please stay standing as we recite these words. Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring. Ring with the harmonies of liberty.
Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea.
Sing a song full of faith that the dark past has taught us.
Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of our new day begun. Let us march on till victory is won.
Please keep standing as we also recite this flag of mine. Every nation, every people on this planet deserve to have a flag that represents them. In America, the Honorable Marcus Garvey gave us the red, black, and green, the flag that represents our nation here in America. And he says, this is by Amy Jacquet Garvey,
His wife.
his wife. And this year's theme for Kwanzaa happens to be reframing the legacy of Mother Africa. So we honor the Honorable Mosiah Garvey's wife as we recite this. Here's to this flag of mine.
Here's to this flag of mine.
The red, black, and green.
The red, black, and green.
Hopes in its future bright.
Hopes in its future bright.
Africa has seen.
Africa has seen.
Here's to the red of it.
Here's to the red of it.
Great nations shall know of it.
Great nations shall know of it.
In time to come.
In time to come.
Red blood shall flow of it.
Red blood shall flow of it.
Historians shall write of it.
Historians shall write of it.
Great flag of mine.
Great flag of mine.
Here's to the black of it.
Here's to the black of it.
400 millions back of it.
400 millions back of it.
Whose destiny depends on it.
Whose destiny depends on it.
The red, black, and green of it.
The red, black, and green of it.
Oh, flag of mine.
Oh, flag of mine.
Here's to the green of it.
Here's to the green of it.
Young men shall dream of it.
Young men shall dream of it.
Face shot and shells of it.
Face shot and shells of it.
Waving so high.
Waving so high.
Here's to the whole of it.
Here's to the whole of it.
Colors bought and soul of it.
Colors brought and pole of it.
Pleased is my soul with it.
Pleased is my soul with it.
Regardless of what is told of it.
Regardless of what is told of it.
Thank God for giving it.
Thank God for giving it.
Great flag of mine.
Great flag of mine.
Asante Sana.
Asante.
Thank you, and please be seated.
Back in 1966, Maulana Karenga, as the leader of the US organization, after having traveled extensively on the continent of Africa, had this idea of creating a celebration for us here in America. That was 1966. And from what he learned from his African travels, he formulated something really special known as the Nguzo Saba. He formulated the principles and practices and things that we do during the 7 days, December 26th through January 1st. This celebration presented to all of us principles that should be celebrated every single day. It's not just for 7 days, but principles intended to be lived every day of the year. It's Kwanza 365.
Excuse me, may I walk over to the table?
Sure, go right ahead.
Thank you.
In your homes, you may want to set up Kwanzaa table as we've done here. That's one of the things that Dr. Karenga suggested. And there are symbols on the table that have importance and value, and even more value when we understand why they're symbols connecting us here in America with our African connection. First on the Kwanzaa table, we have mazao. Everyone say mazao.
Mazao.
Those are the fruits on the table. You can use fruits, you can use vegetables. We got a little bit of fruit here on the table. But that mazao is symbolic of the African harvest. On the continent of Africa at this time of year, it's a harvest time. For many people, in a way, this is our harvest time.
That's right.
All during the year, we've planted seeds with our good thoughts and our good deeds and good words and good acts.
That's right.
So, mazao represents the rewards of productive and collective labor for the year.
Great.
On the table, which you might not be able to see, these things are all placed on a straw mat. That is known as mkeka.
Mkeka.
Mkeka. This is symbolic of our tradition and our history. And so everything flows from that. And on our table, everything is touching that foundation. On the table, too, there is the kanara.
Kanara.
That's the candle holder. The candle holder holds space for 7 candles, for the 7 principles, the Nguzo Saba, and for the 7 days of the celebration. And they're always placed in this way. If you see them placed differently, that's incorrect. Should be red, black, and green, in that number and in that order. On our table, too, is corn. It is known as muhindi. Everyone?
Muhindi.
Muhindi. That represents the children in the household. You got 2 children, there should be 2 ears of corn on your table. If you've got no children even, there should be an ear of corn that represents the potential for children. We got 6 ears of corn on our table. Got a family, an extended family, so we're recognizing the children.
Yeah.
And Dr. Karenga says this is symbolic of our children and our future, which they embody. On the table, too, are the candles on the Kanara. The candles are known as Mishuma Saba, everyone.
Mishuma Saba.
Those 7 candles represent the 7 days of the celebration and the 7 principles. On our table, too, is a cup. It is Kikombe Cha Umoja.
Kikombe Cha Umoja.
It's the unity cup, symbolic of the foundational principles and practices of unity. We used it to recognize our ancestors, and in the home, whatever has been placed in the kikombe can a little sip from people in the family circle. All right. I use water. Sometimes we use juice, and families may use something different, and that's the choice. On our table, too, represented are the gifts, and gifts are known as zawadi.
Zawadi.
I've chosen to put a child's book on the table, and it reflects a song actually by one of our wonderful artists, and I'm hoping that people recognize the song. Every little thing is gonna be all right. All right.
Bob Marley.
Bob Marley, yeah, in a children's book. Oops. And that's all right.
Thank you.
Bob's songs frequently talk about humanity, talk about peace, and talk about the fact that we can do anything and everything that we want to do as a people. And even in a child's book, that song can be sung, can be told. It makes a great story, and hopefully we believe it.
And if I could add on to that,
Yeah.
one of the reasons that we give gifts and we talk with our children is that we let them know that receiving a gift from a parent or community person, from an elder, is symbolic of you receiving something, but also you being able to live a life that gives back. So our children take on the idea of labor and love of parents, but commitments that are made and kept by the children.
Absolutely.
We guide our children other than other cultures which allow children to do whatever it is that they want to do in life. Our community has specific needs. Our families have specific needs. And our children should be aware of those needs and should orient their lives to making choices that support those needs.
People sometimes ask if adults can receive gifts during Kwanzaa,
Yes, they
and the
can.
answer is yes. Dr. Karenga suggests that the best gift you can give to anyone, child or adult, is a book. That's one of the reasons why I have a book on the table as a gift this evening. Books represent learning. Books represent knowledge.
And reaching back,
Yeah.
right? The
Absolutely.
Sankofa.
All right.
Okay.
On the table, there are 2 supplemental symbols. One of them is the bendera. Everyone say?
Bandera.
The bendera is the flag given to us by Marcus Mosiah Garvey in the 1920s when he came to America at the invitation of Booker T. Washington. And on the table, too, Dr. Karenga suggests that you have a poster of the Nguzo Saba, the 7 principles, and we don't have that, but we do have a banner that represents the first principle for today, Umoja. And on the table, I put a bookmark that actually has all 7 principles listed. I got that bookmark from one of my children 100 years ago, right? But it lists all 7 principles.
All 7 principles.
And I still have it after all
Yes.
these years. And I think I put a necklace on the table, too.
Yep.
It's kind of nice to get a gift of a book, but also even nicer to get something that reminds you of who we are and where we've come from. Let's see, what else you got, Bob?
Okay, so the Nguzo Saba, the 7 principles, and we say them in call and response, and we say Umoja, which is unity, to strive
What
for.
language is this?
This is Kiswahili,
Okay, all right.
all right? And Kiswahili was the language that Africans developed on the continent that transposed boundaries. In other words, we know that there are 54 countries and many dialects and languages on the mother continent. But Swahili was a universal language that most Africans knew and understood, so that they could trade and engage in commerce and share knowledge with each other and other nations, particularly with the Muslim nations that also came into Africa. Kujichagulia, self-determination, to define ourselves, name ourselves, create for ourselves, and speak for ourselves. Ujima, collective work and responsibility to build and maintain our community together and to make our brothers and sisters' problems our problems and to solve them together. Ujamaa, cooperative economics, to build and maintain our own stores, shops, and other businesses and to profit from them together. Nia, purpose, to make our collective vocation the building and developing of our community in order to restore our people to their traditional greatness. Kuomba, creativity, to do always as much as we can in the way we can in order to leave our community more beautiful and beneficial than when we inherited it. And finally, Imani, faith, to believe with all our heart in our people, our parents, our teachers, our leaders, and the righteousness and victory of our struggle.
Can I slide something in there real
Yes,
quickly?
you can.
Sometimes people say, I can't say this, or I can't learn all these words.
Okay.
Yes, you can.
Yes, you
It's like,
can.
just like you learned anything else. Read,
Yep.
look at the definitions, study, memorize them, learn them. When I've worked with little children, the fifth principle is Nia. And I know sometimes we ask little children who may have done something wrong or something incomplete. We say, now, why'd you do that? And the first thing out of their minds is, I don't know. Well, you should know what you're doing.
That's right.
Whether you're an adult or a child. So Nia is purpose.
That's right.
Have a reason
And a
for
purpose.
the things you do.
That's right. That's right. And just to expound on that just a little bit more, Karima, the pronunciation of the words is very important because words are vibrations, and vibrations move throughout the universe, and either they connect with positivity or negativity. Our culture is based on positivity and the positive vibration that we live in. This is why we live in positive energy. We speak in positive energy. We think in positive energy so that communicates strength and shares and transmits strength among our people, from our families to our community to our nation. That is one of the gifts that our Creator gave us. So pronouncing the words is very important. And recognizing that the words in Kiswahili are not pronounced the way that you pronounce words in the English language. So when we say Umoja, Kujichagulia, Ujima, Ujamaa, Nia, Kuumba, Imani, those are pronunciations that cast vibrations and bring positivity into your space, into the space of your home tonight. So you can practice with us right now.
Absolutely, you certainly can. In fact, I thought Baba was going to have a little space for call and response, but that'll come later, call and response.
Okay.
With the Nguzo Samba.
Okay.
Now we're getting to the candle lighting.
Yes.
And candles are lit in a specific way, just as they are 7 in numbers and always put in this configuration. We light them in a special way too.
So why don't you come up and do that, Karima?
You want me to do that?
Yeah, I'd like you to do that.
Okay. Well,
All right.
I think
You're the queen of the house.
Oh, well, yeah. So you're
Okay.
the house. You can
Okay.
light a match.
Okay.
But on the first night, when we celebrate Umoja, we light the black candle, which represents black people, represents us. And then on the second night, we use that candle that has been lit, and we use it to light a red one. And then on the third night, we light that black candle again and use it to light a red and then a green. And we alternate back and forth until all 7 candles are lit on the last day. The reason why we light red before green, because red represents struggle and sacrifice. And you have to have struggle and sacrifice before you can have land, hope, and a future.
Victory.
So let's light this first one. And everyone say Umoja.
Umoja.
Umoja, which is unity.
Unity.
Everyone?
To strive for, maintain unity in the family, community, nation, and race.
Okay. Come on, Black Candy. We want to have.
Okay, I got you. I got you. Come on.
See?
Come on. Come on. Give me.
Nope.
Come on.
Get another one.
All right. And this is how we work together to make it happen.
Got it. Thank
Right.
you. Asante Sana. Okay, what's next on our agenda?
Okay, so now tonight is the first night that we celebrate, and having done the lighting of the candles, we will come back over to our space and begin talking about what our program is going to look like moving forward. So if you come back and share this space with me, and then we can tell our family at home what's coming up. So after we have gotten to the end of our part in this celebration, the tradition keepers will be coming on. And
Tradition Keepers.
yeah, the
All
Buffalo Tradition Keepers.
right. I'm part of that group.
Great.
We've been around since 1995,
Okay.
and we've been a part of every Kwanzaa since 2004.
That's a beautiful thing. And after them, we have the Buffalo Soldier Orchestra, and I think that's led by Brother Jomo Okono. We've been privileged this year, really honored by our Creator and our ancestors, because we are coordinating with the Rochester Kwanzaa Coalition in doing Kwanzaa this year. So Kwanzaa is not just in the Buffalo community, it's in the Rochester community, and actually it's all over the country and the world by now. But we are privileged to be working with our brothers and sisters in Rochester. And then last, we have, we want everyone to remember, and this, I think this is very important, the Kwanzaa committee this year and the youngsters involved in the Kwanzaa committee have been able to put together the idea of dinners being provided for people who are being a part of Kwanzaa this year. So watch very carefully for the questions that will come forth each night, and if you answer the question correctly, you will receive a dinner from one of the best African black folk restaurants here in